Next month, my girlfriend and I will have been together for 2 years. Prior to myself, she dated someone for like 4 or 5 years, which I mean is a longer relationship than I have ever had. I'm sure 4 or 5 years brings with it a lot of memories, investment into a relationship. From what she has told me, it didn't end well. He decided they needed a break. Mean words were said to each other, decided it was officially a breakup, and they went no contact until this week. Earlier this week, she got a text from him, which was the first she has heard from him in at least since we started seeing each other. I think since they broke up. I was with her when she got the text. He just said he hoped she was doing well, that he hoped she had found peace. As far as I know, my girlfriend has not responded. Of course, I don't hold it against her for him texting her, inserting himself back into her life. But this is new territory for me. In the times I've seen her since, she has brought up the text multiple times. It's usually her unloading these feelings on me validating them, which is genuine. She talks about how it's brought up a lot of emotions in her because she thought things ended badly and regretted things they said to each other, including things said to him. How she has been talking to girlfriends about it and their advice. I engage her about her feelings and whatnot when she brings this topic up. I want to be understanding and supportive. But it's hard not to feel jealous, looked over, when I'm trying to be a good partner and my own person and help foster our own relationship. And it's like she just keeps bringing up this text and her ex. It's the repeated bringing up of the topic in different ways and for discussion. Like I text her, ask how her day is, and she will have something about the text she got from him, how she has been feeling about it. We have tickets to this stand-up comedy show this weekend. I bought them over a month ago. I asked if she was free, if she'd like to go, and she said yes. This is for someone I've wanted to see for several years. Even though this was my endeavor, I was looking forward to it with her and having a nice night on the town. She asked if she could pull out of going, but she doesn't feel in the right headspace. However, she instead wants to go to a last-minute party her friend is throwing because being around friends could help her right now. And it's like, damn, you're canceling our planned thing because of your ex and how he's made you feel. And to recover, you want to go be with other people. This is how I feel, so like I said, this is new territory for me. I'm not sure if my feelings are valid or if I'm just being sour. I'm not sure how understanding and patient to be on this before I can justifiably feel like it's weighing down on what we currently have. Ix will not be at the party. He lives in another part of the country. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1, she's not over him, period. I'd have a heart-to-heart conversation now. Set some clear boundaries. They are being crossed already, in my opinion. She's a 32-year-old woman. If she doesn't see the issue with all this for you, then you need to escape. She's clearly telling you she still has feelings for him, and you're accepting it. Best put your foot down. If you don't, she will lose all respect for you, and it will hurt you even worse. I guarantee it. Have a conversation about it and gauge her reactions. I think you already feel the truth of it all. That's why you're asking us. She hasn't gotten over him, and you're now stuck holding the placement. Bad positioning, OP. Step over him or walk away from her. Your only options. Good luck. Comment 2. You're totally valid in feeling what you feel. I was sympathetic to your girlfriend's feelings and her communication of her thoughts, until she let this tangibly affect your time together. To put it bluntly, it's a rejection of you, and she's prioritizing headspace for her ex. Talking it out with you shows that you're still her primary focus. Excluding you and moping over this with her friends shows that her ex still holds a huge piece of her heart. Sit her down and ask her if she still has feelings for him. He broke up with her. That's big. If you all of a sudden wanted to reconcile, what would stop her from doing so besides distance? Ask her this and observe her body language. Don't go by what she says, but how she reacts. Good luck. Now for the update. Thanks for sticking around for the latest. So, the comedy show night came and went, and yeah, I didn't go. Instead, I found myself walking around the city trying to clear my head. She went to that party, and I guess it was supposed to make her feel better. But here's the thing, it didn't. She called me late that night, crying, saying the party just made her miss our plans more, and that she felt guilty for bailing on me. The next day, she came over and we had a long talk. She admitted that she had been thinking about her ex more than she should. She said she felt confused and needed time to sort through her feelings. I was hurt, but I told her I understood. I mean, what else could I do? A couple of days later, I heard from a mutual friend that she wasn't just confused. She had actually been in touch with her ex. They'd been talking since that first text. I felt like a fool. I confronted her about it and she broke down, admitting she was trying to figure out if she still had feelings for him. That hit me like a ton of bricks. I told her she needed to make a choice because I couldn't be strung along. She chose me, said she was sorry, and promised to cut off contact with him. But trust is a fragile thing, and it was already cracked. We tried to move past it, but things were different. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was her second choice. Then, out of nowhere, her ex showed up in town. He wanted to talk to her in person to apologize for the past. She told me she was going to meet him just to get closure. I was against it, but she went anyway. I was a mess waiting for her to come back, expecting the worst. She came back and told me that seeing him made her realize it was truly over between them. She said she felt free, and that she was truly committed to our relationship now. I wanted to believe her, but something inside me had shifted. The aftermath was, well, interesting. We had good days and bad days, but the trust never fully came back. And then, the final blow came when I got a message from someone who had seen them together, looking cozy. I confronted her and she couldn't look me in the eye. She finally admitted that she had feelings for him still and that she couldn't fight them anymore. I was devastated, but I knew I had to let her go. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but I couldn't be with someone who wasn't all in with me. So we broke up. It was messy and painful, but it was the right thing to do. Now I'm picking up the pieces of my life, trying to move on. I learned a lot about myself and what I want in a relationship. I won't settle for being someone's backup plan. It's tough, but I'm getting by, one day at a time. Thanks for reading this far. It means a lot. My husband ignores my hard work and his sister insults my efforts. So I build a successful business and show them who's the real boss. I'm going to start off by saying I'm a stay-at-home mom. We have 3 kids, ages 8, 3, and 1. My toddlers stay home with me, while the older kid goes to school. I cook every day, I clean every day, and I raise our children. My 3-year-old is in ballet, and my son is starting soccer. I also contribute financially, bringing in over $4,000 a month from prior arrangements I made in my past. It's not like I'm not financially contributing. He only makes $4,000. On his income alone, we couldn't survive. I handle all the finances. I pay the bills, the rent, and I save. I have saved us more money than either of us have ever had in our lives. I buy everything we need, and I always look for deals. Like our children, they only wear Nikes or Jordans. I buy them good clothes and shoes. I never even had name brand shoes growing up. I look for sales and deals. Like the other day, I bought a pair of Jordans and Nike shoes for my son and daughter for $80, tax included. That's extremely cheap. I budget everything. I buy all the groceries for the month. We have intimacy regularly. I don't understand him. Today we got into an argument, and he asked me, "What do you do all day?" I asked him back, "What do you mean?" He said, "Every day when I come home, I see you in bed." I told him, "No, shh. You come home at 10 or 11 p.m., of course I'm going to be in bed." He's a chef who leaves at 9:30 a.m. and comes home at 10. 11 p.m., sometimes later. Essentially, I'm a married single mom. I honestly do it alone. Sick days, meltdowns, I don't get a break. I ask 4 things of him. Take out the trash daily, take the oldest to school, fill up our water gallons when they're empty, and bring in our Walmart delivery order inside the home. I put everything away and order it and purchase it. When he's home, he's a present dad for the most part, and our kids love him. He plays his video game for hours, and I mostly leave him alone. I'm not a clingy person. I like my space, so it doesn't bother me him playing. But I'm at my wit's end. After everything I do, I don't understand why he treats me like I do nothing, like I contribute nothing. Thank you everyone for your words. I hear you all. I wanted to respond to some comments people have made. He is French. He lived on his own since he was 18. When we met in California, he was making $16 an hour working part-time. He lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with a roommate, and he mostly ate ramen and eggs every day. He was broke and he's horrible with money. Honestly, I didn't care about his income because I have my own. I cared for him as a person. I don't ask for much. I'm not high maintenance. I try to live a humble life, but I do spoil my children. I may have $10 shoes, but my kids won't. I bring this up because there were times my income was what got us through when he wasn't working, because he got let go during Infection 19. But I always encouraged him. Now he's a sous chef at a big hotel. He went from eating ramen to having someone cook him Mexican food. Because I'm Mexican. I learned how to cook Indian food because he likes it. But I just feel that everything I do is never enough. And I'm seriously just thinking of ending it and leaving him. I don't get why he's so mean to me. He treats me like an enemy. I'm scared to break my daughter's heart because she adores her dad. But I'm sick of living like this. Like every choice I have made, helping him with his resume, interviews, moving to a different city that is nicer. All these beautiful opportunities we have are because of me saving, doing research, and applying while managing everything else. We travel, stay in beautiful resorts, and do things that we couldn't even dream about as kids because I look for the deals. I've created a life that's beautiful, but in his eyes, I'm worthless because I don't physically go out and work. I feel like I'm starting to resent him. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. The same way he doesn't thank the fridge for keeping his food cold. He sees domestic labor as your job, and he's not witness to the hundreds of tasks you complete every day to keep things running. Or maybe if he did acknowledge everything you did, then you'd start asking for change. And he's comfortable with his life as it is. You deserve much better than this. Make it his task to set up marriage counseling and hash this out. Comment 2. I think he needs a serious reality check. There's an exercise I've seen where each partner writes down what they believe they contribute and what they think their partner is contributing. And then you compare. It seems like he went right from his mom to you, so he has no clue what it takes to run a home. You're doing 95% of what your home needs to stay functioning, and he really needs to recognize and respect that. Now for the update. Thank you for sticking with me through this. So, the other day, things got even worse. My husband's sister, who's always been a bit of a troublemaker, came over unannounced. She's the type who thrives on drama, and she brought a storm with her. She started going on about how I'm living the easy life, while her brother works his fingers to the bone. I couldn't believe it. Here I am juggling kids, housework, and finances, and she has the nerve to say I'm taking it easy. I tried to keep my cool, but she just kept pushing, saying things like, "All you do is spend his money." That's when I lost it. I reminded her that half of that money is mine, earned from my previous work, and I'm the one who's made it stretch to give us the life we have. She just scoffed and said I was delusional. The next day, my husband took her side. He said maybe I should go out and get a real job to understand what hard work is. That hurt. It felt like a slap in the face after everything I've done for our family. I started to question if he ever valued me at all. But I had a plan. I've always been good with numbers, and I had been quietly putting money aside just in case. So I made a move. I took that money and invested it in a small online business I had been eyeing for a while. It was a risk, but I had to do something. It paid off. Within 2 days, I made a profit that was more than what my husband earns in a month. When I showed him the numbers, he was speechless. His sister, who happened to be there again, tried to downplay it, but the look on her face was priceless. That's when I laid down the law. I told them both that I wouldn't tolerate any more disrespect. I was contributing to this family in more ways than one, and it was high time they recognized it. My husband seemed to get the message, but his sister stormed out, muttering about how I'd manipulated the situation. I'm not sure what the future holds for us, but I know one thing. I won't let anyone belittle my contributions again. I've proven my worth, and I'll keep proving it for my kids and for myself. Thank you for reading. My husband promised me a family, but cheated and ignored my difficult pregnancy. So I kicked him out and tore up his guilt-ridden check in his face. I'll start with acknowledging my mistake of believing someone's words and not their actions. I trusted my husband when he said he wanted to start a family and wanted myself to get off my birth control. Husband and I have been in a long-distance relationship for almost 6 years while he finished school. He got a job in his hometown, so we stayed together and hoped to sort the distance out. He proposed and told me he had a plan, so I went ahead with the wedding. As luck would have it, I got pregnant right away and told him. He seemed excited, and I reminded him that we need to work the distance problem as soon as possible. He has dragged his feet all along, and in December I gave him an ultimatum to either find a job near the baby and me, or let us go our separate ways. He said he would try, so I made sure we met with a pastor to help us through the issue. My husband committed to a few items in that session, and I thought we had a way forward. He applied to several jobs here and got a few interviews, but nothing has panned out yet. His current company has a small branch in my area, and he was supposed to reach out to them to maybe relocate here. He had one conversation and did not follow up with anyone. My location has a better job market for our industries. Unfortunately, as I get closer to the due date, I have been getting anxiety about the likelihood that I will go into labor while he is still in a different state. I expressed this frustration to him, and he just kind of ignored it and talked about how he has good leave with his job. This has been a very difficult pregnancy, and I've had to see specialists a few times. He has only been to a few appointments, but he drags his feet when I ask him to help pay for doctor bills. I got a changing table on Facebook Marketplace while he was visiting one weekend, and he left without assembling it. I had to bring it up to him that he needed to do that. My breaking point this week was another difficult doctor's appointment with more disappointing news. I was so sad and just didn't want to talk to anyone, so I ignored his calls. I called him back later, and he immediately tried to start a fight with me. Somewhere in that conversation, he mentioned that maybe I should move to him. I asked him why he would reasonably bring that up now, this late in my pregnancy, knowing that I might even have to go through a C-section. He then says I can move after the delivery. I asked him how long he thinks C-section recoveries take, and he said 1 month. Face palm. So I asked him how he would think it's reasonable to have a new mom who just underwent major surgery to pack up and move states. I told him I want a divorce at this point. He has proven to lack empathy, honor, or be a decent man, and his parents aren't even calling him out on his poor behavior. I feel like he trapped me with a baby in hopes that I would move to him. What advice do you have for this situation? Divorce will probably be after the baby is born. I don't even care to request child support from him. I just want him to leave me and my baby and sort his life priorities out by himself. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Please don't give your child his surname. It doesn't look like he'll ever be a meaningful part of your child's life. I wouldn't have him with you while you gave birth either. Perhaps organize to have family and/or friends with you for the birth and recovery. I wouldn't count on that man for anything. I'm sorry you're going through this. While giving birth and raising children is stressful, I think continuing to be in a relationship with him would be more so. Comment 2. Before you make another complicated choice, do you have help with the baby and support where you are? If you do, try to get through pregnancy there. Leave the marriage alone. You are living separately anyway now. Then, after a couple of months after the baby, you will know what to do. All this rushing to make something happen and end something. So stop and take care of your baby and yourself. Then decide later, unless there is some major issue that makes you rush. Now for the update. Thanks for sticking with me through this mess. Well, the past 2 weeks have been, interesting and not the fun kind. I thought things couldn't get worse, but life has a way of surprising you. After I told my husband I wanted a divorce, he came down for a weekend to talk things through. I should have known better. He brought his parents along, unannounced, as if I needed an audience for this circus. They tried to convince me that moving to him was the best option, even after the baby. His mom even had the nerve to suggest that I was being selfish for wanting to stay put. Can you believe that? Then, the shocker dropped. My husband admitted he'd been seeing someone else in his hometown. He said it started as a casual thing, but it got serious. He had the gall to tell me he didn't want to leave her. I was floored. All this time he'd been stringing me along, pretending to make an effort for us, for our family. And there I was, pregnant and alone, while he played house with someone else. I kicked them all out, but not before his dad slipped me a check. "For the baby," he said. It felt like hush money, but I was too drained to argue. I didn't cash it, though. It's like admitting defeat, and I'm not ready for that. The next day, I had another appointment. The doctor said there might be complications with the delivery. I might need someone there with me, in case things go south. I called my sister, and she agreed to come. She's been my rock through all this. My sister arrived, and we've been trying to get things ready for the baby. She's been amazing, helping me set up the nursery, going to appointments with me, but she's also been talking to my husband behind my back. She says he's just concerned and wants to help. I don't buy it. He's just trying to worm his way back into my good graces. Then, yesterday, I got a call from the hospital. There was a mix-up with my insurance, and a huge chunk of my medical bills weren't covered. I was in a panic. I called my husband, thinking maybe, just maybe, he'd step up. He said he'd take care of it, but I've heard that before. Today I got a call from the insurance company. The bills were paid in full. I asked who took care of it, and they said it was anonymous. I have a sinking feeling it was my husband, trying to buy his way back into my life. Or maybe it was his parents. Either way, it feels like a trap. I'm grateful, sure, but I can't help but feel like I'm being manipulated. I'm trying to focus on the baby, on being a good mom. But it's hard when every knock on the door, every phone call, feels like another potential betrayal. I'm keeping the divorce on the table. I have to, for my sanity and for my child. I just hope I can make it through these next few weeks without any more surprises. Thanks for reading. It helps to get it all out. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.